Okay.
Brian is not.
Miss Brian is not here.
खाली लगेगा.
So I think the introduction has already been done. These are the names who requires no introduction actually. So see, we all have seen a shift in the last 10 decades. We all have seen the shift in the education system in last 10 decades. What we were learning 20 years back, in fact when you and me, we were students, what we learned, is the system pedagogy working now? No. Now what is the system? It's more than a certificate, more than a degree. It is based on making the students a human. The necessity is the human and not the degree, right? So we have experts who are really into the education industry since more than 2 decades. So my first question to Rohan sir will be, as sir owns a chain of school, and I'll tell you one thing. My first pilot project for handwriting was at Rohan sir, and today I am speaking to him one-to-one for the first time. Right? So he is a senior so many years back, like he has been doing it. So sir, you have seen the drastic change. Earlier what we were doing and the 21st century skills. We cannot survive because now it's more like skill based. So what, as an educator, what do you feel the role of the evolving teachers requires in the 21st century of skills? So,
First of all, thank you very much for having me here. And chain of schools may be giving a wrong impression about me. There's just 3 branches and 1/4 one just recently started. So yeah, I have that is part is true that I have been in the education industry for a very long time, must be more than 40 years, and I am the 4th generation of teachers in my family. So of course we have seen a lot of changes over the period of time, and since I am this august gathering of teachers, I don't have to go into what is skill and what are all those things. But we all know that today what we are looking at is to develop the skills which are required for the future generation to survive on their own. We were always content heavy, dependent on rote memory, asking our students to write the answers correctly, remember the dates correctly, remember the formulas correctly. From there, today we know that content is not something that the future generation is really bothered about, because information, as we call, is available at the tip of our fingers. So whatever we want, and of course now it is much more than that, but let's stop at that information is available for us at any given time. But what is important today for this generation is there are other things that are required, which we all again know about, the skills that we require for communication, the collaboration, the critical thinking, creativity, and there are so many other skills, and we all know that skill is something that is acquired not by somebody teaching it to you. It doesn't come. We all know that. It is something that is acquired by constant practice. And so that's why the teacher's role is very, very important here. Because we teachers belong to the old generation of students or the learners. We have been taught in a certain way, and it is natural always as human beings that we will always do what we are accustomed to doing. So first and foremost, the most important role of the teacher is to understand that this concept doesn't work. We can't teach our children the way we were taught. It has to be different. It has to be according to their needs, their interest. If we try to teach them the way we learned, they lose interest, and then we have all the problems in the classroom because they are just not interested. I can get this information anytime, or most probably they have more information than we have, because we may be relying on one textbook for our information. They may be relying on the whole Wikipedia or whatever else they may be attending to. So information doesn't interest them. And apart from this 4-5 critical skills that we call, there are other skills that are important, like the leadership skills. They are also skills. So time management. Then we have something where we have got like the research skills that is required for a future generation student, or to do whatever he wants to do in his life. He requires to have good observation skills. So all these things, and there are X number and number of things. There is I don't want to get into all those things. But the point which I want to make is that the teacher has to be aware of this. If I am not aware of what is a skill, and if I am not aware about that this skill has to be developed in a child, I may tend as a teacher to still concentrate on the content matter which is there, which again, as I said, creates the disaster inside the classroom. So the first thing is the awareness that these children are different. Second is the awareness that what are the skills that are required for my children for their future, and what is important, what is not important. That's the part. And the third thing is to consciously be able to transfer the kind of what you call as the kind of practices that we can do in the classroom to ensure that the skill is transferred. So what are the best things that we can do in the classroom? For example, just speaking like being a geography teacher, I can relate easily to geography. So like if I say previously when I used to teach, let's say rainforest. So then we remember rainforest as being given to us as a data, that between this degree latitudes is the rainforest is visible, and then this is how the tree is, these are the names of the trees. Now try doing that in today's classroom, it will be utter boredom. Okay, so we have to devise ways to make this whole thing interesting. So what happens is that in our classroom, when we teach nowadays, most of us must have shifted the whole thing. Like suppose we want to develop what we want to do is we usually may show a picture of or a video of the rainforest, and we may tell them that look at it and you tell me what kind of trees can you find there. So basically what you are doing is the teacher has to understand that I am developing the observation skills of the child. The child looks at the movie or the picture and says that these trees are huge, these trees have got broad leaves, the undergrowth of these trees is very dense. So this observation, between the difference between the child observing and writing it down is different from I telling the child that the leaf is big and why it is big, how much rainfall, which area, how much, when does it rain, how much is the temperature. I was always told that this is the temperature and you buy it out, and this is how you have to write in the exam. But today what we do is basically we put up a chart of different temperatures, different places, and we tell the students that you require to now look at this and tell us what is the climate of this place. So what are you doing? You are developing their analytical skills, their thinking skills. Now the teacher has to be aware that why I am doing this activity. that I am not trying to get this information about the rain or the temperature, but I am trying to develop that skill in that child, that how do I look at the data, how I look at what is given to me, and I do my learn it, which helps me to retain it better. So coming to the last part of this, I think I overshot my time maybe. As a teacher, you know we are all like that. So sorry. So what basically what I can just share one good practice that we have come up with. What we do is, when we have these lesson plans like you all have, we tell the teacher to highlight that what skill are you targeting. You mention along with that activity or that part. So what happens is, the teacher is consciously looking at, yes, what is the skill I am teaching together, and ensuring that this skill is transferred. That is what we have done, which I feel that if is a best practice which you can use it, because being conscious about it is what my take is, that teachers have to be conscious about it, and that's how we are going about with our change. Thank you very much. I hope I have answered the question.
Thank you so much, sir. As sir rightly said, it's more of action doing than rote learning kind, and these days the kids, they value that, they understand that, how we all remember Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, because that was not stressful learning, that was while playing, dancing we learned it, and now it is more of action learning by doing it, and sir rightly mentioned what the teacher's role also have to do it. So now the same questions, Seema ma'am, you have also been an educator for more than 4 years. Okay. So it's 21st century skills, the teacher, how should they focus on the new style of learning to cope up with the students' mindset, and how they retain what they have learned, and it should not be like degree based, it should be more
Yeah, thank you so much for the question, and yes, very happy to be here on this platform. I cater to children coming from mostly the slum areas, children who are first generation learners, daily wage workers, and catering to the state board. And yet I will say that children all across, whether it be an IB board, an SSC board, an ICSE or a CBSE, children are all the same. They are all the same, and I think that that's the reason why we as educators need to see that we are not focusing on the content, but we are looking at the context, and we are also looking at aligning it with the contemporary needs of the child and the society from which he comes from. And I think that is what plays a major role. So whatever the content be, what kind of strategies and pedagogies are we using is something which is very important. When we talk of skills today, everyone knows that we have those 6 C's with us, where we talk of collaboration, communication, citizenship, we talk of creativity, critical thinking, and above all, compassion. So I think all this, if we want to achieve, we also need to look at as to how are we going to deliver it, and what will be our stand. So what sort of strategies are we going to provide? As Rohan sir rightly said, the content is not so important, but teacher awareness about what skill am I going to deliver. So what are the skills that are needed? Beyond this, all the C's, I think active listening is something. So as teachers, we need to see what is the talk time. Are our teachers talking for 18% and 20% goes to the children, or is it the other way around? That's the most important thing, that whether every child is getting an opportunity to express him or her. The second most important thing is that are we also giving the child an opportunity to go beyond and think and provide safe spaces for the child. But also let us understand, when we are providing safe spaces for the child to be brave, to talk, to be courageous, we have to realize that the world doesn't have the safe spaces for the child. Then what skill are we giving the child? So the only thing is, we are going to make the child enable enough so that when he's in the outside world, he's able to minimize those sounds which are going to cause wounds to him. He's going to try to amplify his own sound, his own voice, so that he's able to reach out. And that I think is very important. And for this, strategies like conversations, cafe corners for the children, they are so helpful. We just put 5 children together and make them sit and converse with themselves. Why should some outsider come and talk to the children about parenting style? This week, my children are talking to the parents as to what are they expecting in parenting, and not some outsider coming and talking. And they have done a fabulous job of it. I think that was wonderful, the way they have prepared their PPTs, the way they are ready with it. So these kind of things I think help and allow them to have a chance to talk, and that is why I think fishbowl theories, which we apply in the classroom, where every child gets an opportunity to talk. The most important when we talk about collaboration, I think collaboration amongst the teachers, that is what the children should see. And once they see that, I think everything is easy. Then they know how to collaborate. But many a times, as I say, that our staff rooms are hot furnaces. So that should not happen. So when as teachers, we are collaborating, children are automatically going to learn to collaborate. And to collaborate, you need not go far away, collaboration of children and parents. So for the skills, I don't think content is necessary. All that we did was the parent and the child sitting together and talking. And when we gave them 15 minutes to talk, the parents came and said, पहली बार मुझे बच्चे के बारे में, अपने खुद के बच्चे के बारे में आज समझा. Giving just 15 minutes conversation, 15 minutes the child talks and I say the parent will only listen. And 15 minutes the parent talks and the child only listens. There is no conversation, just listening. I think this active listening helps to collaborate. So because today there are no dinners with families, So here is where we need to bring them together. Also making them realize that less is more. Because they come from such humble backgrounds, many times they have the feeling of guilt, the feeling of having less, So making them realize that sometimes less is also more. Because then there is aspiration, there is this aiming high, and this aiming high is something which all children should develop in them. That aspirations, that yes, I want to reach somewhere, I have some goals in mind. So I think when we have this goal setting and giving every child an opportunity to be a leader, set your own papers, check your own papers, and be the own master of your own destiny, I think that makes a lot of difference. So these are some of the things I think which really will lead to. And as I say, soul is something which is so very important. Safe spaces for the children, opportunities for every child, no child left behind, as Rachna said, unlimited trust in every child, that is your you. And L is finally love unlimited for the children. That soul, if every teacher has, I think every child can do wonders, and then every skill will automatically flow in. Thank you so much.
Rightly said by Seema ma'am, if you put in our soul, yes, we are going to get best of results, and I am sure हम लोग सभी जो यहाँ पे बैठे हैं जिंदगी में धक्के खा के ही आगे बढ़ेंगे. What Seema ma'am is saying, we have to make the students ready for the future. May what come, they should be prepared for it. So yes, that is the skill which the kids need, which was not happening for so many years. Now let us change the question little bit and come to Farzana ma'am. Ma'am, I hope you don't mind. Now we all are sitting here in 2025, right? So Farzana ma'am, let us suppose, see, education system, it's changing so fast. 10 years back what we were studying is not happening right now. What if we are sitting in 2050 and we are the educators? So what kind of pedagogy the teachers would be using, and should we still be teaching the content which we have been using for so many years? So we would like to know your perspective on that.
So, good evening to everyone. Yeah, I'm a teacher and I love to, create drama everywhere that I go, So, I think it's fun, as Rohan said, when there is fun in the classroom, children love to learn. So, today in this room, I'm saying let's put ourselves into a time machine. We put ourselves in a time machine and let's go 25 years down the road. That's what Rachna's question is. what will happen in 2050. So there are some skills, there are skills which have limited life, I would say shelf life. We need to look at which skills do we want to nurture along with those skills which would be like future proof. Okay, even in the future when the child, today the child in nursery may become the CEO, and now I think we should all aspire because the Indians are doing so well in the global space. We've got females. Rachna, thank you for empowering the women. So we've got good CEOs now everywhere. So we would love that we empower. So which would be these timeless skills, which are there and future proof? I think one would definitely be the cognitive flexibility in children and unlearning. So what we have today learned, and as so rightly said by Rohan sir about the geography class. So if I continue teaching like that, 2050 those children will don't allow me to even come into the classroom. So what will be that skill? We will have to, as teachers, unlearn and relearn. I'm sure at that time, तो मैं तो नहीं होगी तब 2050 is a long way away. But if we are training our young ones now, this is what's going to happen when they will become those teachers. And the world is moving in that direction. We also need to move in that direction. For example, I'll tell you, IBM, it's a very big company. What do? Every year, every employee has to spend 40 hours in upskilling. That doesn't mean that the employee, that it's not only tech please, it's anything to advance in your skill, which will future proof you. Because 25 years down the line, आज जो चलता है वो नहीं चलेगा. Microsoft will be a very different version. So what do we need to do? We will need to do things which are different. I am so very happy there are boards now, not only the international but even the national ones like CBSE, which are looking at 40 hours mandated training. Means every teacher should do something. Because see, finally, what happens in the classroom depends on the teacher. And that is where cognitive flexibility and unlearning. And other second point which I would like to talk about is mainly about the human and AI connection, literacy. See, we have to understand 2050, right? Please don't think of today, where we are all struggling as educators. There, I think AI is going to stay. So, what will we be doing, and what will be that future-proof skill? And that will be, we will be able to sort of generate that type of learners who direct AI. See, AI is a tool at the end. What will we have to do? We will be the creative geniuses. And I'm sure, I think each one sitting in the room thinks, yeah, humans are creative geniuses. Robot बना है, लेकिन किसने बनाया? इंसान ने. So that is where, again, the future-proof skill that we need to be above whatever is there and keep learning. The third, of course, is the, sustainability, systematic thinking. The systems thinking is so important. I know Bombay University has started with a new course which is called Green MBA. I mean, it's so interesting. So it's not only about the MBAs who are going to wear the, sorry, don't sir, they're going to wear the suits and they're going to be around and giving directions. They are going to be actually leading the movement. And that's what I think the future should hold for us. Also, one more thing which I would like to add is we are in Maharashtra. I am so proud of Nagpur. Bombay सब बोलते हैं commercial capital है, कुछ ज़्यादा करते नहीं हैं. I'll be honest, I am a Mumbaiker. I love Mumbai. I've been born, brought up, and I think I'll die in Mumbai. But let's look at Nagpur. I don't know how many of you all know about, it is called the drone capital of India. They do so much about with drones, helping the farmers, helping the schools are using it. There is so much happening in that little city, but that is what is future proofing. So one child very sweetly said, in one of the interviews, and she said, was very scared when I would miss a class, or I would be scared of exams. But now I fear I don't want to miss my drone class. Because they're learning, they're enjoying. That's exactly the point both of them, my earlier speaker said. If there is fun, if there is new age learning, this will be a future-proof skill which will help. Okay? So as Modi ji has said about Lakpati Didis banana hai, Nagpur mein drone Didis hai. They are tribal women, have been taught how to be drone pilots. I mean, see, this is the future. This is the type of skills we need to give our children to think out of the box. And hopefully we will be able to future-proof ourselves. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Farzana ma'am. So Farzana ma'am insisted, she put a concept that 2015 drones and AI will be more active. So we will be preparing the students. We will be preparing the students to be the entrepreneurs rather than being an employee. And the mindset has already started. Everything starts from a positive mindset. Like I know a 23-year-old boy. I don't want to study further. If I go abroad, spend your 50 lakh rupees or 5 crore rupees, and then another 10 years down the line, I have to repay the home loan, education loan. And if I use my skills, maybe in 2 years down the line, and within 6 months, he is a successful entrepreneur, earning more than his parents. So the mindset is changing. He was determined. With a positive mindset, I will do it. I know what I have to do it. So that is the future which Rohan sir, Farzana ma'am and Seema ma'am, we all are insisting. Thank you. Now I come to Padmajaa ma'am. The same question ma'am comes to you. How do you tackle the 21st century schools education amongst your teachers? So you can share your experience.
So good evening to the August gathering, I would say, because we are all educators seated here. Thank you, Dr. Rachna, for the question and for this opportunity. And it's my honor to share the platform with Rohan sir and Farzana ma'am, to whom I always turn to. I think they deserve a huge round of applause because any question asked to them, they have an answer. I turn to them whenever I'm in distress. And of course, Seema ma'am, youth stalwart again in the field of education. Thank you so much. The question, I always feel we keep telling ourselves as educators that prepare the children, prepare the children, prepare the children. But I feel we as teachers need to prepare ourselves for the children. So it is very important that we enhance our observation skills, our critical thinking skills, our collaboration with the team that we work alongside in the school, and the creative side of us should come out so that we can be prepared for their speed, their questions, their honesty and their word. So it's very important that we develop our skills that we can in turn impart it to them. So the one C that I very firmly believe in, because we all keep talking about critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication. The major C, the very important C that we should work upon is character. Because if you build an individual with character, I think our dream of making this world a better place to live in is met up with. I was just watching yesterday Sitare Zameen Par, a must watch. Every individual sitting here, I must say, I'm not promoting the movie, I'm promoting the essence of the movie, where the children with special kind of intelligence has taught us so much that it left us asking for more. So we as teachers should learn from the children, keep our eyes open, build their character so that they become adaptable, develop resilience, learn skills that are important for survival. Just yesterday I read a news that there is a child in class 9 and there was a huge birthday celebration. The parents went to buy a birthday cake, and when they came home, the child was seen hanging across the curtain rod. So what's going wrong with our generation? Why aren't they resilient? Why aren't they able to communicate? It's very important. The youth generation that should be empowered to think right. So every lesson of ours should have some value that we inculcate in them that brings about this change in them. So I'll quickly give a reference since Ms. Rachna, Dr. Rachna did ask me that how do you do it in your school. I would like to thank Farzana ma'am because she is our senior advisor at Maina Devi Bajaj International School where we impart a boutique learning experience to children, and she said, Padmajaa, let's do home economics with children this year, and she's going to help us with that curriculum where we teach the children cooking, we teach them to iron. I mean, where are these skills otherwise that they are going to learn, because parents overprotect the children. So we as teachers should give them that platform to learn. Why don't we teach them financial literacy? Why don't we teach them to learn about taxes and insurance? All this is very, very important. So these are the skills that we are looking at to embed in our children in the classrooms. And there was one topic, shapes in IGCSE grade 8 math. We are a school that is affiliated to the Cambridge board and we deliver the IGCSE curriculum. So my teacher said this, I said, how do you go about doing this? She said that I'll just tell them all the shapes and maybe make them draw, cut triangles, rectangles and all of that. I said, let's deal with this whole topic very differently. So what do children like to do nowadays? We need to relate to children. There should be an objective when we implement a concept in the classroom. So they love to watch movies, all of us also, right? So I said, let's start with a small video where there are these two girls going to watch a movie and they're discussing about 2D, 3D and 4D movies. So the set induction goes with the introduction of these children going for movies, and when they come around, the entire shapes, the concept of shapes is explained, and then we divide the children based on the shapes that they pick up. This also helps us understand what kind of ideology or thought process is going on in the child's mind. After doing that, I'll cut it short because time is limited, and like Rohan said, don't hand over a mic to the teacher because she can keep going on and she or he can keep going on, or very dangerous to give a mic to a teacher. So we said, we told them, we always say let's do sustainability differently. In one topic you can integrate everything with a multidisciplinary approach. So we told the children, just go around the school and collect all the waste that is available. Go to the primary classes. They collected all the waste that was available in the school, and they created an entire diorama of a metropolitan city, and they created flyovers, hospitals, buildings, and their concept of a park. So that was really wonderful to watch, and the children came up with a brilliant idea that let the flyover connect the hospital to schools and an old age home besides the school. So we don't have to teach compassion separately. A topic like shapes in mathematics involved the children so much that they thought that let's build this bridge so that children who fall sick can be immediately rushed to the hospital through that flyover, and the old age home seniors can also be protected. So every lesson, if you plan thinking of involving all these skills, I think the children will step out into a world that they will already be aware of, and they will go with characters built and individuals who will be looked up to as empowered citizens of the state and the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Farzana ma'am. Thank you so much, Farzana ma'am. We are running short of time, so we will not, Padmajaa ma'am, sorry. We will not be like you all have answered our second part of the query also. So what we could make out from everything, like we need to train our teachers in such a way that they can create a system wherein we prepare the kids for future and not just for rote learning. And Padmajaa ma'am, you mentioned about financial literacy. I am sure most of the educators, well-settled, financially well-set educators, if we talk about financial planning, how many of you are aware? Financial planning, future secure karna hai. How many of the females out here in the room they can do their own financial planning without taking support of their husbands. Without taking support of their husbands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just 10 to. Financial planning, if it comes to investment, future investments, I am not talking about spending. Future investment, securing your future. I am sure even if you want to invest 10,000 for your future, कोई भी इंश्योरेंस वाला आता है, आप एक बार में कभी हाँ नहीं करते हो. You are an exception like me. Yeah. When I started my career, I started with just 1 lakh rupee, a franchisee for UC Mass. I said देना नहीं है तो बोलने का भी नहीं. When I am spending, but majority, because it's not that they don't want, the literacy is not there. Once they know it, they will be able to pass it on to the students. Many of them in Handel and metro cities still we all know. What about interiors? So we need to create such a system that the teachers needs to learn to pass it on to the future generation. So I would thank all my panelists for such a perspective, because you all are truly true edu leaders in the education industry for more than 20 years, 30 years, 40 years of experience. So with this we come to end of our panel discussion. I would request Mona to arrange for the felicitation of our panelists.
Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being very patient. And thank you to all our panelists for the insightful session. We now invite the organizers for the felicitation of our panel members. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, once again a very, very thunderous applause for all our panelists.